What's good, YouTube? We're back. It's Keezy, make it look easy in the spot. And I'm I'm here, nigga. We gotta watch the dirt vid. We gotta watch the dirt vid. It's J. Cole's The Fall Off, full history, album cover, and trailer. Explained. Now, nigga, J. Cole, Jermaine, Cole, bro, that's my guy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He dropping 262. I just can't wait for the album, man. Let's get into it.
Using ChatGPT like
Oh,
Google,
shut it.
that's why it feels useless. But try this instead.
Come on, the one Friday Night Lights, Workout, Born Sinners, Forest Hills Drive, For Your Eyes Only. Why do I keep forgetting what this album is called? KOD, I think. That's what the album's called, I think. And the off season.
Everybody starts at the come up.
They say I'm the down south Nas, the East Coast
Yep.
Pac.
And no matter what they accomplish in life,
That's what I'm here. That's what I'm on right now. I'm on the come up. I'm saying no fake scam today, by the way. I know y'all can see that. But yeah, I'm on the come up.
no matter what the accolades might be, they end at the fall off.
Bitch, I'm about to blow up.
It is really here. It's finally time. On February 6th, we are getting what I believe will not just be a 2026 Album of the Year contender, but an absolute blowout for that spot. J. Cole is about to drop the best album of his career, and sadly,
Yes.
this could be the last project that we'll get from him. You know, Cole has flirted with the idea of
Bro, the last, bro. Bro, I'm gonna miss Cole, bro. The last project, bro. The last Cole project. Like, seriously. Bro.
hanging it up, but he didn't explicitly claim that he was gonna retire either. In a 2020 interview with Slam Magazine, Cole said the following: "Bro, I'm super comfortable with the potential of being done with this shit, but I'm never gonna say, oh, this is my last album." So he's been talking about the project for a long time, but where did it start? Well,
But I feel like niggas, they could change their mind, bro. He could be like, you know what, yeah, this is gonna be my last album.
as far as I'm concerned, it goes back as far as KOD in 2018,
Yes,
where the
KOD.
original name of the infamous 1985 track had the words "the intro to the fall off" in brackets. Ironically, that track is about young rappers that get hot and eventually fall off.
Now you scrambling and hoping to get hot again.
Cole would also sit down with Angie Martinez for what, in my opinion, is his best interview ever. And he doesn't just mention the fall off, he even projects that it will be dropping in a year.
But it's not an album?
The album that I was talking about, you talking about the Fall Off.
Yes.
That's that probably won't come for another year. I've
Okay.
been working on it though for like a year and a half.
That was 2018. He claimed he was working on it for a year, year and a half, which means as far back as 2016, he's been planning this project.
For 10 years. That's what he said. That's what was in the beginning of his this 2 track too. Know what I'm saying? For 10 years. It's crazy.
And we've had a lot of teasers over the years. In 2019, when Cole was slated to perform at the Day in Vegas festival, he used an ad to open up his performance where again, he promoted the fall off, this time with a date of 2020.
Make your voice heard.
Why is everyone talking about Rocket? Well, they just gave away 1 million tokens for free. You literally type
Vote for the fall off in 2020.
And it wasn't long after where Cole claimed that he was dropping 2 songs from the fall off itself, and that was The Climb Back and Lion King on Ice.
2 heaters, by the way. I can say though that I have not listened to The Lion King on Ice, but The Climb Back, one of my favorite songs from Cole.
Which ended up on a 2-pack that
Heaters,
he
bro.
titled Lewis Street. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at some of
So
those.
imagine heaters like that. They were supposed to be on the album, but he threw them away. He threw them off the album. So that means there gotta be better heaters. It gotta be more heat backing, bro.
Tracks that were supposed to be on it that never made it, because I think that'll give us a good window into what the album's going to be about. Continuing on into 2020, Cole dropped a notebook checklist that seemingly acted as a roadmap for his future discography. You can see he already has some of the projects checked off, but there were a few more things left to do before we.
He dropped the off season, but It's a Boy was supposed to drop. Now here's my theory about It's the Boy. It's a Boy. See how it has this 2-track 2 in in he got the track this 2-track 2 that he dropped yesterday, I think. Yeah, that shit was no 2 days ago, bro. He that means there's a disc 1. That means it's a double album. I think that he merged It's a Boy and The Fall Off. This one is It's a Boy and this 2 is The Fall Off. I think that's what happened. I'm saying. But let me know in the comments what y'all think happened.
Get to the fall off, and he said, I still got some goals I gotta check off before I scram. Again, he's kind of hinting at a potential.
Because I really don't think Cole would waste a project like that. Like, just skip over his plans. And I don't think that Might Delete Later was a substitute for it either. Might Delete Later. I don't think it was a substitute for it, bro.
Retirement. And following along with that roadmap, the next thing in line was the off season, and that's exactly what he was about to check off. To promote the project, he dropped an Instagram post for his album of the year freestyle.
As that album title sounds like the album's gonna tell a story. Like, It's a Boy. Okay, he has a son. Tell a story about his son or something. Not every track, but it's gonna have a theme. And Might Delete Later didn't have a theme, you know. But let's
where he
continue.
said, all roads lead to the fall off. This line really fits perfectly with the trailer that he dropped today, which we are going to discuss. On the off-season project itself, J. Cole would mention the fall off for the first time in his music, and that was on a track called My Life with 21 Savage.
After the fall off, I promise I'm coming and selling out Wrigley's.
To me, it seems like he's planning a pretty big tour after the album drops. Maybe he'll do like a 2-year run again. I saw both shows back to back. We can't forget that Cole also put out a documentary for the off-season, and for the first time, we seem to get a little more insight into where his head was at with his vision for the project.
When Melissa told me she was pregnant, it was like almost like a clock went off. Like before life completely changed, I was like, damn, I need to refocus, wake back up and lock back in and begin the process of like the fall off, which is reaching its highest height before I feel like I can like comfortably just relax.
It was also around the same time where Cole sat down with Kevin Durant, and that convo hit different because he finally said it out loud. He basically admitted the fall off wasn't next, there was a roadmap, and before he could get to the endgame album, he said a project called It's a Boy had to come first. Cole doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to write down his elaborate plan and roadmap and not follow it. I think It's a Boy is still coming. I think before February 6th, we're probably going to get it.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus.
And if that is the case,
And this is your brain
but
when
if
you're in
that
the
is
zone.
the case,
So now we're in 20.
if that is the case, and going by his logic and how he thinks, what his theory, then I think that going by what's the Dirt's theory that It's a Boy is dropping before 2626. he's probably gonna drop on his birthday. If It's a Boy is coming, the perfect date would be January 28th, his birthday. Hear me out. Now, if my theory isn't correct and What's the Dirt's theory is correct and he drops this month, literally in some weeks, the 28th, I think that's the week after next. Bro, he's, bro, it only makes sense to drop on his birthday. You know what I'm saying? That would make total sense. And then February 6th, Carolina 2-6, he drops the Fall Off. That would be a fire timeline. So I'm sticking to mine, but I'm a consider What's the Dirt's theory as well, bro.
2023 and we still had no album, but Cole would mention the fall off yet again at the very ending of his track Adonis Interlude from the Creed 3 soundtrack.
Just cop the fall off and he'll explain the end of the chapter. Happily ever after. It's gonna be the year that fulfill his reign.
So the end of the chapter, fulfilling his reign, you know, all kind of clues towards hanging it up. And that brings us to the record that I'm sure everybody watching has heard, and this is First Person Shooter with Drake. And again, Cole mentions the fall off.
I'm naming the album The Fall Off. It's pretty ironic because it ain't no fall off for me.
From here, the battle happened, and Cole seemed to go outside of the roadmap as we get Might Delete later. And I believe his reasoning for naming it this is because it was never really part of his plan. This was a complete detour from what he had in mind, and obviously the battle happening and everything surrounding it wasn't something he could predict. Even the track where he went at Kendrick, which was titled 7-Minute Drill, was something he just...
I'll agree with him. I agree with him on that. I truly think Cole didn't even... It was just a detour, bro. You know what I'm saying? I agree with him on that.
Described years prior.
But it does have some tracks on there that I genuinely like. Like Treasure Truth and Ibiza, bro. That track is a heater to me. Pie, oh my gosh. He was just having fun on that tape. I ain't gonna lie. He was having mad fun on Might Delete later. I ain't gonna lie.
Like, remember I told you about the 7-minute drill? Like, I put myself through drills. I really try to work on my craft to, like, just reach new heights and push myself. So
I don't believe for one second that Might Delete later acted as a replacement on his roadmap for It's a Boy.
I don't think so either. Because Might Delete later.
Boy, I don't think this...
It doesn't sound like... It doesn't sound like it would have been named It's a Boy, like the track. I mean the album. It doesn't sound like that. It's a Boy sounds like it has a theme. You know what I'm saying?
Was supposed to happen. He knew that, and that's why he named it that. It was on Might Delete later where Cole made a very bold declaration on Crocodile Tears when talking about the fall off.
The fall off is like Hov dropping Reasonable Doubt last.
Bold claim, but if you're asking me, I 100% believe him. But Matt, why are you so confident that J. Cole is gonna deliver? Well, it could be the fact that I know he's been obsessively sifting through hundreds of songs in the process of getting this album into our hands. It could be that beyond the fact that he's had this thing in the works since at least 2017, J. Cole has been telling us the mission for this album the entire time. He's quite literally pushing himself to produce the best quality music and the most sharpened version of himself. There's a reason why we've all agreed that over the last 5 years, J. Cole has progressed as a rapper while his peers have either remained stagnant or even regressed. When an artist puts themselves in a position where they aren't battling against someone else but themselves, that's one of the most healthy headspaces you can be in as a creator, and it's not an easy place to get to. J. Cole has got himself to a point where he's not saying, is this verse better than Drake's? He's saying, is this my best verse? How far can I actually take this? What can I say that I haven't said? That's why this album.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. The beginning of this year been having so much inspiration, gang. I'm getting so locked in this year, bro. I'm so locked in this year. It's not even a joke.
Has been such a grueling process, and that's why it took so long. I think J. Cole's gonna prove to the entire world that bar for bar, of his generation, he is the best rapper. And he's not gonna do that from beefing or battling. He's gonna do it from rapping. With that said, what is the fall off really gonna be about? Well, we do have a window into it because there are a few different tracks where Cole said himself they were originally meant for the fall off, but he dropped them early. False Prophets, Everybody Dies, and Middle Child. And
Heaters. Bro. Those three, bro. Those three songs are literally heaters. Middle Child is one of his biggest songs to this day. If not his biggest to this day. And that was supposed to be on the fall off. Do you know how if bro, if the climb back was supposed to be on the fall off and Middle Child was supposed to be on the fall off and False Prophets was supposed to be on the fall off, my nigga, do you understand what the fall off is gonna be? Do you are we truly ready for what's about to happen on February 6th? Are we truly like are we truly ready? I'm stuck in the middle of two generations. I'm little bro and big bro all at once, but just left the shank with young Chunny. Just left the lab with young Chunny One Savage. I'm about to go and meet Jigga for lunch. Just had a talk with the young nigga called that. Reminded me of from niggas from Ville. Straight out the projects, no faking, just honest. I wish that he won't have more guidance for real. Nigga, they act like they act like two rappers cannot coexist. If I ever beef with a nigga for it's gonna be for legit. It won't be for clout. It won't be for fame. It won't be because my shit ain't selling the same. It won't be to sell you my latest new sneakers. It won't be because some niggas slid in my lane. Come on. Do we understand? Do we understand? Huh? Let's get it. I'm not actually crying.
he dropped them early.
I'm an actor. You know, I'm an actor. Shh. Movie's coming soon.
False Prophets, Everybody Dies, and Middle Child. And knowing that these were supposed to be on it, it kind of gives us a good clue as to where he's headed. On False Prophets, Cole is watching legends turn into complete assholes through their ego. It's basically him saying that the fall off really starts in the mirror.
It's been hard for him to look into the mirror lately. That's the reason why his fall from grace is hard to take.
Everybody Dies ties perfectly into the trailer that he dropped today, which we'll soon discuss. On this record, Cole is saying that the industry is fake, and then he zooms out to say that none of it matters anyways because nothing lasts.
Cause one day everybody gotta die. One day everybody gotta die. Oh.
Then we have Middle Child, which shows Cole as a bridge between generations, something else that happens to pretty much every artist. The old people phase out or fall off, the new people come in, and eventually you're standing in the middle of it.
I'm dead in the middle of two generations. I'm little bro and big bro all at once.
So there's a theme to these records, right? And I think he's just going to expand on these things on the album. So today he finally dropped the album cover, and to me this is reminiscent of his first mixtape, which was called The Come Up. This is where everything started for J. Cole and what the come up actually looked like. I'm fairly confident this is a representation of J. Cole's childhood bedroom. We see CDs and possibly floppy disk all over the place, and that's because the ASR X Pro sampling machine used floppies for storage. J. Cole did a tour of his childhood home, and he introduced that machine to us as his first beat machine.
This is my very first beat machine. I know y'all use Fruity Loops. I'm on Logic. Some of y'all use Ableton. Nobody's using analog things anymore, but this was the first thing in like the year 2000. It's a sampler. It don't come with barely no sounds, and I had to figure out how to use this, and that's when I started making my own beats, writing my own songs. It all started on this machine right here. So
really, to me, the messy room, cables, and everything else you see is Cole's way of saying this is where I became me, and this is where I'm closing it all out. Because if this room didn't look like this, he wouldn't be here, and there would be nothing to fall off from. If you think I'm missing anything, or like you could see something that I don't see, leave it in the comments. Now we get to the trailer, which I absolutely love because everything he's putting across here is very true. The scene opens with J. Cole washing what looks like a Lamborghini Urus, and the narrator is talking about how people will often make claims about artists, actors, or musicians.
Start to speak like a top manager. 3 phrases that kill your first impression. Literally, it's amazing.
On how they fall off.
And it's like, oh, this guy used to be famous and then he fell off. What happened?
The narrator that you're...
I reacted to this trailer. Go check it out. Yeah.
Hearing, ironically, isn't someone that's really well known himself. The audio that J. Cole is using is from a man named Dan Harumi, who posted the original video to his YouTube channel 9 months ago. Dan said it was pretty crazy for him because when J. Cole's team reached out, the video only had 300 views at the time.
And it's like, oh, this guy used to be famous and then he fell off. What happened? I put that video out on YouTube, and at the time, it had like 300 views.
Bro, you dropped some bars, nigga, and you was speaking facts.
And one of those 300 views was J. Cole. So you never know.
People see J. Cole washing a $200,000 Lambo as just him showing his personality, but to me it fits the narration perfectly because the Lambo isn't really a flex in this scene, it's a symbol. It represents the fruits of Cole's labor and many entertainers just like him. It's like cleaning an old trophy and looking back at a moment you thought solidified you forever, only to realize that the world moved on. The shine, hype, and applause eventually fades, and now you're left with the thing that used to mean something, trying to bring it back to life with a rag and a hose. To me, this is the greater metaphor. You can polish the outside all you want, but you can't wash away time. You can't wash away the feeling of what once was permanent and is now just a moment that people already replaced.
And it's like, oh, this guy used to be famous and then he fell off.
Next, we see Cole seated in a diner, just doing regular day-to-day shit like any other person, and this matches the narrator's whole point about falling off because it's a representation of doing such great things in your life, but that one day coming where it passes. When the pen writes its last line and the lights are off, he's just another guy living a normal life. I think a lot of people in show business relate to this, right? And they probably appreciate it, whether they're rappers or not. I've found myself thinking about this many times. I've looked at covers of old movies from the 1950s and thought, damn, the person on the cover of this movie was probably a big deal, but I don't know who they are. In fact, I've never even heard of this person. Even if we think about something like a floppy disk, which was created by Alan Schuster.
That's a fact because everything rises and everything falls. You know?
Stuttgart in 1971, he created something so monumental, but most of us don't know who he is, and his creation was eventually replaced by a CD. I think about things like that when the narrator specifically said this.
That, yes, of course, it's not going to last forever because somebody else has to take that spot.
I walked into an old barber shop one time and got this exact same feeling. He was playing old music from the 1940s, and I thought, damn, this music that I'm hearing was probably a #1 record at one point. This artist was probably super famous and successful, but I've never heard this in my life. You know, I think about the one-hit wonder artist who just had that one hit, kind of that was their moment in time, versus someone with 100 #1 hits. But at the end of the day, it might take longer. But either way, regardless of what you've done, you will eventually be forgotten. This is what the fall off truly represents to me. It's accepting that regardless of what you've accomplished in life, you will one day also be forgotten. This is a very scary feeling for someone who is an entertainer or in the public eye. I know the feelings that I get when I read comments that tell me that I fell off. It doesn't feel really good.
But see, I feel like as someone who is getting into the entertainment space and really wants to create, I feel like the journey and who you affect in that time with your art, with whatever you do, who affects who you affect, what impression you leave on them, how you leave them feeling, if you've inspired them, if you've shown them that they can be something greater. I feel like even if you made them laugh, smile, you probably saved someone's life because you made them laugh when they felt like they were they were at the end, you know? And then they randomly click your video and you made them laugh and you made them you made them go another day. You know what I'm saying? You made them think like maybe it's not so bad. You feel me? That point in time when you are up, that that and the rise, it's what matters is the people you affect, bro, in a good and positive way. And you just have to be okay with being forgotten in the future. Because your art might not be timeless. You might not make a lasting impact like Michael did. You might not make a lasting impact like who was a let's see, like Denzel, Morgan Freeman. You might not make that lasting impact. You know, there's people that say, "Oh, this is timeless music. This is timeless art. Oh, this movie is timeless." Yeah, I feel like there are people who have timeless things, but they too will fall off. You know? So it's the people you inspire, the people you know what I'm saying? You just you help that make
Good,
that
but
feeling of falling off worth it, you know? It doesn't you don't you don't weigh heavily on, you know, damn, people are gonna forget me or this, that, and the third. Nah. You just have to be okay with them, okay? they'll forget me. But right now, while I'm here in this present time, all eyes are on me. So I'll make the most of it and I'll help as many people as I can. That's what it is, bro. And that's how you have to look at it, my opinion.
But it seems J. Cole has accepted and is exploring a topic that no other rapper has dared to touch on. The fall off for J. Cole doesn't seem to be about losing relevance, but more about choosing the moment you step out of the spotlight instead of being dragged out of it. Time erases charts, trends move on, and Cole has been staring this fact in the face longer than most rappers ever could. It seems J. Cole is basically saying, I'm not here to stay hot forever. I'm here to say something before I leave. If being forgotten is inevitable, let me speak honestly while I'm still heard and at my very best. Some see this as a retirement, but I see it more like a final letter. It's an end to an era that he felt obligated to complete. In an industry that gets obsessed with being remembered forever, Cole's philosophy might just be the most amazing thing he's ever done. Everybody falls off.
Bitch, I'm about to blow up.
W vid, what's the dirt? Roosh dropped him off, reacted to Kyle's vid, which is pretty interesting to me. But W vid, what's the dirt? Hey man, all facts, man. I yapped for a long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle out of here. It's your boy Keezy, and it's be the gang, make it look easy to movement, and it's be going up. We on an elevator with no down arrow. You know what I'm saying? Once you get on, it's no other way but up, man. It's been your boy Keezy, and I'm out, bruh.